below Owensboro. I'm in Owensboro, Kentucky. I've been on some business up here and just wasn't going to make it back. I thought, man, I'm going to miss the live stream. But I said, well, you know what? I got light here in the parking lot. I'm in the Walmart parking lot. I got some light here. I'll go ahead and do it. And going to be very brief anyway. This is part 6 of our series. And this is, by the way, this is the 28th, I think. 28th. Yes, I believe that's right. January 28th, 2026. It is 9:04 p.m. Central Standard Time. I know it's late for you East Coast people. God help you on the East Coast. And so we coming to you live here. And we're doing our series on the signs of the times. And this is part 6. And I think yesterday, no, we didn't get on yesterday. Church didn't get back from church in time. But on Tuesday, I think I told you I was going to do the one on the 10 toes and Trump's peace thing that he started with he's got leaders from different countries around the world that he's appointing, and I'm going to do one on that, but I'm not ready for it yet. Besides, my notes are back at home, and but we'll probably get that tomorrow night, but we'll see. So we're going to continue with my regular signs of the times. We started out, of course, with perilous times shall come in the last days. Dangerous times were there. We talked about Daniel chapter 12, verse 3. There are 2 of them there. The running to and fro generation, that's us. And then number 3, knowledge shall be increased. This is the generation of knowledge everywhere. And then we said we're the generation where one man could rule the world. First time in the history of the world, our generation. That was number 4. Number 5, I believe, was in our generation, for the first time in history, the world could destroy itself. That was never possible until our generation. And then tonight, real quickly, signs of the times, one of the biggest signs in the Bible for the end times, not the only sign, but one of the biggest signs is the nation of Israel. The fig tree, the budding of the fig tree. And you'll see that in Matthew chapter 24. I believe what we have seen with Israel since even since 1917, really. 1917 was was when the general went down there and took Jerusalem without firing a shot. Remember that? Allenby, General Allenby, the British general there. Remember they dropped flyers down, telling telling the Muslims to get out. Who were they? I've lost it now. But anyway, they dropped these flyers down from an airplane. These guys had never seen an airplane, and they look up. 1917. I mean, airplanes are very primitive, right? They dropped these flyers down, and they wrote in Aramaic, "Get out of Jerusalem now." Signed Allenby. Well, the way it was written, to them it looked like Allah. They literally thought Allenby meant Allah. And when Allenby showed up, the people were gone. They were gone. They thought Allah had commanded them to leave. And here's a plane in the sky. They didn't know what that was. 1917. And there's more to that story, and I think I have that in some of my books. I tell some of that story. It may be in the Mystery of the Jubilee. I'm trying to remember. But anyway, and I've forgotten some of it. But who were the people? Anybody remember who were the people? Who were the people that had inhabited Jerusalem? They were there for 400 years, and then Allenby drove them out. I've lost it. If anybody remembers, put it up there. I've lost it. can't get it. So anyway, that was the beginning of what's going to be called the Balfour Agreements. They're going to begin working on a plan to bring the Jewish people back to their homeland. This is right at the end of World War I now. Now, World War II hasn't, Hitler hasn't come on the scene yet. The Holocaust has not happened, and they're already making plans, right? That's the Balfour Agreement. These are important details that lead up to why Israel was able to go back to their land in 1948. It started some 30 years sooner, right? And so that's why in 1946, I think, 47, M.R. DeHaan, I think it's 47. M.R. DeHaan, in one of his books, either the Revelation or Dan, I forget where, I think it's the Revelation study guide that he did. And I read in there, he said one day man will go to the moon. He predicted that in 1947. It's going to be, what, 57, 20 something, about 20 years later, man's going to get to the moon. Was it 69, 1969 or 68, something like that? I forget. Man, I remember watching as a little kid trying to stay awake. And we were watching Canadian TV in Maine. It was, black and white little. And I remember the guy, he called it the moon, the moon. I never forgot that as a little kid. And witnessed man walking on the moon. And 69, 68, whatever it was, I forget. And, but anyway, the Balfour Agreement. Hitler hasn't come on the scene yet. They're already on the beginnings of preparing Israel to take back the Jews, and some agreements and some documents signed and things like that. Then, in 1940, in the 1940s, the Holocaust is going to begin, World War II. We don't get in it until 1941. It actually begins in the late 30s with they're already taking over some countries, and the Holocaust has begun. They've, in fact, was it 1940 or early 41 when that ship came off the coast of Florida? They were begging the United States. There was 1,000 Jews on that ship. We did a show on this, and you can go back and find that. And so. So 1941, December 7th, almost 1942 is when America gets in the war with Japan, and then Germany declares war on us. A lot of people don't know that. We declare war on Japan because they bombed Pearl Harbor, because we were blocking the fuel from Japan. There's all kinds of angles here, and we were not at war with Germany. But Germany, when we went to war with Japan, Germany declared war on us. And so we were on two fronts, Eastern and Western fronts. It's confusing. When you study history, you got to understand some of these things. And there's the surrender of Germany, and then there's the surrender of Japan. They're not the same, okay? D-Day, what's the other one called? One's D-Day, one's, anyway, getting off track there. Let's see. And some of you guys are older than me. You remember some of this more so than I will. But I keep dropping the phone off the steering wheel here. I'm hanging on to it. And so we get in the war. The Holocaust is going on, of course, and then the war ends. It's 1948 when the United Nations declares VJ Day. Thank you. Somehow I knew Van would get that. VJ Day. And then one of them was called D-Day, right? If I got that right, D-Day and VJ Day. Of course, VJ, I think, meaning victory over Japan. But is the other one called D-Day, or is that one of the big battles? I forget. But anyway, Van will put that up. He'll probably remember. Van's about 800. Van's about 99 years old, I think. So he was there. He was there on both of those ceremonies. And of course, they had them Japanese leaders on the ship. And, they kind of embarrassed them and everything, and shamed them. And as the treaties were signed and all that. But anyway, and so Israel. Oh, well, I know what I was talking about. I was talking about 1947 when M.R. DeHaan wrote that book. on Revelation. In there, he said one day man would go to the moon. And man, did I get on a rabbit trail after that, huh? And he also said one day man will travel faster than the speed of sound, which is nothing now. But he also said one day Israel will be back in their land. M.R. Jahan saw it. And a year later, Israel, May 15th, I believe, 1948, when they were they were declared by the UN. By the way, and we did a show on this. Um, what was the president? We did a show on this. Oh, anyway, the president that took over after FDR's vice president. What was his name? I've lost it. Harry Truman. Thank you, Harry Truman. We did a show on this. It's been a while, but 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, I don't know. But remember, I had a big picture of his home. We were trying to auction that off. Never did get it gone, but we still have that. If anybody would like to make an offer on it, and he was the first dignitary to declare and endorse the statehood of Israel. That was a big deal. The United States had endorsed the decision that Israel is now a nation again. That happened, 1948. That was big. Now, is that the budding of the fig tree? I personally am not sure. I lean towards this. Here's where I lean. I believe 1917 is very important. I believe the soil was, and I've never said this before until tonight, I think there's 3 stages to things, isn't there? There's 3 stages. There's first fruits, main harvest, gleanings, right? 3, man's a threefold being, spirit, soul, and body. I think it's interesting that 1917 through 1918 and whatnot, the Balfour Agreements, fans telling a joke. I knew a girl named Eileen. Her one leg was a little longer than the other. Anyway, I've heard that before, but it's still funny. Eileen. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I believe the soil of Israel was what do they call it when they put stuff on they put where's my mind tonight? When you put fertilized. I believe the land of Israel got a fertilization, preparation for Israel. There you go. I already got that one there, Brother Van. But thank you for I couldn't think of what the word fertilize. And I believe in 1948 that fertilized. I believe the roots began to grow again. And I believe in 1967 that the miraculous 6-day war, Israel, the fig tree budded. Does that make sense? Fig tree, the ground was fertilized for the seed. 1917, 1948, the roots began to grow, and 1948 the plants above ground, and Israel is the fig tree is budded. And that's just a guess. I'm not saying that I guarantee that that's accurate, but that's what is Israel without Jerusalem? In 1948, when the United Nations gave them the land, and a lot of you don't know this, Jerusalem was not included in it. Jordan owned Jerusalem. This is important. And boy, there's another story here that we told in that show. I'll try to remember just a couple of details here. When the 6-day war started with Egypt and some of the other surrounding areas there, Egypt contacted Jordan, and to this day, nobody knows how this happened. Egypt told Jordan that they've destroyed all of Israel's air defenses, the airports, the planes. They said that they had destroyed it. It was not true. To this day, nobody knows if they lied or if there was a miscommunication or misunderstanding. But Jordan understood Egypt to say, we've destroyed the Israeli Air Force. They're no longer able to defend themselves. Jordan decided we're getting in the war. That's right. And it wasn't true. Jordan got in the war and Israel won anyway, defeated all of them in 6 days. The 6 Day War, it's called. Jordan got defeated. What does that mean? That means that Jerusalem became Israel's because they beat them in war. And you can see video to this day and pictures of those Jews blowing the shofar and walking into Jerusalem. It's pretty big. In fact, one of the same guys that was there in 1948 was also there in 1967. Pretty interesting. And so the moral of the story is this: Israel is a huge sign. And since 1917, and then more recent, 1948, many people, Van was alive in 1948. I think Van's in his 70s, if I'm correct here. So Van would have been alive. My dad was born in the 30s, and my mom, they were alive when Israel. They were 10 years old when Israel became a nation. They were teenagers. Or, no, they were. My goodness, my dad would have been. My dad would have been in his 30s for the 6 Day War. I mean, yeah. So these are important events. Israel is a huge signs of the times. Now, what's happening with Israel now? I don't have time to go into it, but Israel, because of October 7th, 2 years ago, everything has changed over there, including America bombing the nuke stuff in Iran. And right now we've got ships headed to Iran in case Iran doesn't do what the president is telling them to do. And did you hear that today a jet took off from Iran with the dignitaries and is headed to Moscow to meet with Putin, we think? Nobody knows for sure what it's about, but it's believed that a lot of the bigwigs got out of Dodge. Now, are they just going over there to have a meeting, or are they going over there because they think there's some bombs coming? I don't know, but it's interesting. And we got to watch and see where this goes, where this is headed. And of course, what we'll talk about tomorrow, this peace thing, this thing that Trump has set up, that's going to, I believe, take the place of the United Nations and NATO and all that junk. Trump's setting up his own thing. He's sick of it. He's sick of these people being a bunch of crooks and idiots, and he's starting his own. And we'll see where this all goes. So, signs of the times, my friend. Regardless which one of these signs of the times that you're looking at, they're all pointing to the fact that we're at the end of this thing. We're at the end of this thing. Jesus is coming, and he's coming soon, and you better be ready. You better know Jesus as your Savior. You better be born again. There better be a time in your life where you can picture in your mind, not necessarily a time, but a place where you met Jesus and you realized you was lost and you trusted him as your Savior. And you better have that memory. You better know that you know that you know. If you got any doubts on that, I would encourage you to contact us or somebody that you trust and let somebody open up a Bible and make sure that you're saved. Because if you're not, you will be left behind and you will face the tribulation. All right. We got a new book coming out real soon. Of course, the Genesis book is just recent. If you don't have the Genesis book yet, you need to get that. Genesis, the book of beginnings. The Prophecy Puzzle book came out last year. Awesome book. You need to get that if you don't have it. And my new book will be coming. It'll be up for pre-order, I think, by tomorrow. 70 pages. It's a summary of the Bible. It's going to be real helpful to you. All right. On that note, keep your eyes